Okay, folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier. I'm going to do my Mike's Instant Movie Review of Tar 2022 Kate Blanchett character study. First off, should you see this movie? I kind of have mixed feelings about this one, surprisingly. I would say if you have the time to go see it, if you're looking to kill 2 hours and 38 minutes of your day or your night or your mid morning, that's a lot of time to invest. And of course, like with most movies at AMC theaters, at least, there's 20 minutes of previews before Tar, which was nice because I was kind of slow in getting to the theater. Um, but yeah, so should you go see it first off? I don't know. If you're a big Kate Blanchett fan, which I am, I guess it's definitely worth seeing. Um, but I think a lot of people are going to have some issues watching this movie, and I'll tell you why. I think the movie is a little bit indulgent. It's a bit long. 2 hours and 38 minutes for a character study is kind of a tough ask, in my opinion. By the way, I am live here, so if you have any questions or comments or queries, go ahead. Uh, I think this is one of those movies where people say, "Oh, what a performance! What a performance by Kate Blanchett! What a performance!" But what about it as a fucking movie, not as a performance? And I just felt that this is one of those movies that kind of falls in love with itself. And I've said that recently about other things. I have a feeling that this movie, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, I think that's going to probably win Best Picture at the Oscars. It just seems like it's heading in that direction. And I thought that that movie was a very self indulgent movie, a movie that just loves itself more than the audience loves it. What was that movie where the woman fell in love with the swamp man creature a couple of years ago? The Water movie or whatever. I didn't like that one either. Going back to Tar, I kind of feel like this movie robbed me of my day. I had like kind of a couple of different routes, paths to take today, and somehow I convinced myself that I had to see Tar. Tar was something I had to see on the big screen. So I go, and just like I said, it wiped my whole fucking day to see this thing. Um, Kate Blanchett's a great actress. What is this movie about? She plays this famous composer who's done all these wonderful compositions of music and orchestration. And I mean, I did learn some stuff. I'll say that I learned more about orchestra maestroing than I ever thought I would. Um, there was an interesting moment where there's like a familiar voiceover in this movie for just about 30 seconds, and it was nagging at me like, whose voice is that? And then I just looked on the IMDb page for this movie, and it's actually Alec Baldwin of all people. So he's his voice in this movie, not his face, but his voice is that. So this composer maestra, female composer Kate Blanchett, we learned that she is lesbian. She has a lesbian relationship where they've had this young daughter, her and her wife, and but yet they kind of have like this open-ended relationship because Blanchett is going around, her character Tar is going around with other women, and that comes back to haunt her. There's kind of like this Weinstein thing, like a Bill Cosby thing going on in this movie. So I really just I don't know. I guess I'm saying that I watched it. I mean, I didn't get up and leave the theater, in protest, so I can't say that I wasn't entertained. I just think that there was so much, in my opinion, so many scenes that could have been left on the cutting room floor. I mean, there's literally scenes where Tar, is lying in bed. She hears some odd noise, and she goes into the kitchen and discovers that her refrigerator has a hissing sound to it, and that's supposed to be some fucking allegory or lesson that she has this great hearing, and then she's so sensitive to hearing. I guess that's what it meant. But there's a lot of these kind of weird scenes. There's some dream sequences and stuff, which I felt they were good scenes, but I felt like they were, kind of making this movie a mosaic that it didn't have to be. One thing you knew about this movie going into it is the movie actually, like the old school movies used to have most of the credits at the beginning of the movie, where they list every fucking buddy that worked on the movie at the beginning. And this movie does that, like old school, all your credits at the beginning, and then there's a bunch of credits at the end. And I felt like they're putting all these credits at the beginning of the movie because they know that 99% of the audience is going to be rushing for the fucking aisles to get out of this theater after this 2 hour and 38-minute situation. So I don't know. I guess I just wasn't in the mood for a long movie like this. But because I knew that the movie wasn't going to be played in the theaters much longer, I had to go see it. Like I said, if you happen to be here, you can make a comment or a question or whatever. Change the topic if you want. There is some very beautiful women in this movie, though. A new actress. I just looked up her name. What the hell was it? Nar something's fucking name. She plays like this soloist that Tar kind of has her, eye on. And I can't blame her for that. And then there's some intrigue. And it turns out, like, once again, like the movie I saw last night, Missing, there's a whole element of like phone cameras and social media and this kind of commentary that you're never quite safe from the public eye these days and blah, blah, blah. So, and there's some mention of the pandemic stuff. And I did find the character of Tar to be quite interesting. Basically, I would say that this movie is similar to Whiplash, if you remember that, except in Whiplash, the Miles Teller character of the drummer was kind of the central character, the more or less good guy, and the crazy, music obsessed fucking composer guy or whatever, by the guy whose name I can never remember, J.P. Morgan, whatever the fuck his name is, the bald guy from Oz, Schillinger from Oz. But that guy, he was like the antagonist. In this movie, I kind of say that the antagonist and the central character are the same. Like Tar is kind of like the evil character, but she's the star. She's the central character as well, which is an interesting thing to do. Make the central character severely flawed to the point of, you could say she's an antagonist. Now, who's she an antagonist to? I guess you'd say all these, kind of secondary or supporting characters that she's, sexually been corrupt with in her life, that comes back to haunt her. So it's definitely a heavy movie, an intellectual movie. You don't have to be a brain surgeon to watch it, but you do need to watch, be awake for 3 hours to watch this thing. So I don't know. I guess I'm not giving it a glowing review. I kept thinking before I saw this thing, like, oh, this is going to be this tremendous performance, and the great fucking Kate Blanchett, who I do think she's awesome. I mean, I remember that Woody Allen movie she did, like The Blue Hat or something like that. She's a great actress, but I guess I just expected something more. I don't know if I'd sign up to see this thing again. I definitely say that there's some good quotes in this movie. There's some good life lessons, especially about composing and the artisticness of that. But as far as like an actual film, I mean, you kind of want to put like 25% of the energy from the Elvis movie into this Tar movie. I don't know. It just felt like the movie was kind of draggy at points, and like a really good editor could have taken this 2 hour and 38 fucking minute movie and easily chopped off 30 minutes, if not a whole hour from this film. And I think the movie would have been better. And like I just say, I think some of these films these days that are like 3 hours long, 2 hours and 45 minutes long, it's not because they're so goddamn great that you need to see all this fucking movie in one movie. It's because they're struggling to tell us a story in a succinct manner, and they think that just making the movie longer is going to prove how important it is. And I'm just here to negate that. I'm here to say no. I made a movie, Blood Sugars Today, so you can watch it right here on my YouTube channel. That's 74 minutes, and I'd say it's just as artistic and just as self-loving as this fucking 2 hour and 38 minute Tar. So that's just my opinion. I could be fucking wrong, and I'm definitely not the success that Kate Blanchett is. But anyway, that's my opinion. So Tar, I give it a middle, a 2.5 star out of 5. Sorry, Kate. Subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel.